Hello and welcome to The Big Fight. Who is innocent? Who is guilty? We live in rather strange times because we have a situation right now where somebody could be guilty and their case will linger on in courts for 15 to 20 to 25 years and eventually they get off. Somebody could be innocent as an under trial. You could be thrown into jail. We were discussing this last week as well. And now new twists are coming to that. Whether you're innocent or whether you're guilty, you could have a situation where on TV news channels, you could have a media trial and you could be pronounced guilty before anyone's heard the case at all. And certainly on the internet and on social media, all sorts of accusations can be thrown around without any basis for it altogether. They could be completely concocted accusations and you will be judged and found guilty. So how do we navigate our way through this strange situation that we find themselves in? A judicial system that can be too slow sometimes to deliver justice, and on the other hand, TV channels and the internet, which can be too fast to pass judgment, too quick also to pass sentence. And a range of people who can help us try and decipher which way we can do out here, and I'm going to throw it open to all of them, obviously. Start off, Abhinandan Sekhri, co-founder, newslaundry.com. Shekhar Gupta, of course, one of our most respected journalists, senior columnist. Siddharth Varadarajan, been moving from print now on the internet, so I'm going to see if you're going to be faster to pass judgments now that you're online. Pinky Anand, the additional Solicitor General, is going to help us wend our way through the legalities of all this. And Professor Ashish Nandi will tell us what it means about sociology. Are we moving to a mob sociology also? That somewhere mob justice is what really seems to be ruling. Dr. Kiran Bedi, it's always a pleasure to have you with us, ma'am, and feel free to weigh in on any of this. And Neeraj Sharma, very, very active on social media, runs all sorts of blogs and on Facebook and things like that. You can tell us where those judgments are coming from. Okay, who wants to go first? Shekhar, why don't I kick off with you, actually? Is there something strange in our society right now? Courts never pass judgment or pass judgments too late, and you are, however, convicted every single day on social media and on news channels.
See, first of all, the courts. Courts take forever. And that leads to this feeling that justice never gets delivered. And that creates justification for all kinds of excesses, including judicial excesses. So the funny thing is that a higher judiciary is doing nothing to make its own processes more efficient. At the same time, it's trying to fix everything, including now giving orders on which politicians or which public figures can have their pictures published in advertisements. On the other hand, I think with social media, everybody thinks I have an identity on the media. So everybody, in her eyes, is a byline now. And also it gives you the, I would say,
the license, no? And Shekhar, anonymity sometimes gives you the license to say things which you would never say.
That. I was searching for the right word. It gives you, and the right word, I was trying to choose between suicidal and self-defeating. Let me say self-defeating option of anonymity. And anonymity brings out the worst in human beings. So there is a mob on social media, and like all mobs, one calls out something and then a whole bunch of people follow. But as long as it's abused only on the social media, people like us are thick-skinned, it doesn't matter so much because minimum
abuse... It's happening on mainstream channels also.
Minimum abuse you get is moron, then it goes to pimp, then it goes to prostitute, which are standard terms for journalists these days who you disagree with. But I think my worry is that this could transmit itself into real mobs. And I also worry about the way, say, for example, if you transmit this to, say, Arvind Kejriwal's call to hold corner meetings to discuss the accuracy of
where does mob mentality? So actually, let me take that forward. And Abhinandan.
Two things. One is regarding the corner trials of the media, which Mr. Gupta said about Arvind. I was there when this happened. I'm not saying it is a wise thing to say. I think it's an extremely idiotic thing to say, but the suggestion had come from the crowd, and it's a bad idea. And then Shehzad Poonawala got up and said it's a bad idea, and then everyone agreed it's a bad idea. So it is a bad idea. But the bit about the social media becoming a mob, that is a concern I have. I think there's an overreaction, and I think it's also a generation thing, and I include myself in the generation of Mr. Gupta. If you've read a book called Amusing Ourselves to Death by Neil Postman, I don't know if anyone's read it. It's highly recommended. It was this cult book where it was a critique of the television age. It was discourse in the age of showbiz. And he was just trashing television. because, it was a new invention. America was obsessed with television. And he was talking about how Abe Lincoln, everybody used to talk at town halls and discussions and discourse was so intelligent and so intense, and now it's so stupid. Well, it is a lot more shallow because it's a lot more wide. But I don't think it's worthy of the kind of alarmist attitude that, it could lead to mobs and people will come to our homes. I don't think it'll happen.
But can you...
I just think it's a new medium which people are getting used to. Just like television took a while for the old timers to get used to. But I definitely don't have such, radical view
Neeraj,
on...
people are tried every day on TV channels, but then even more so on social media, without there being any facts. Nobody has to have a fact. Somebody can just pop up and saying, XYZ is a crook, and this person has done this, and now answer. Why have you done this? It may be nothing to it at all, but before you know it, this person's reputation is over. Is that a trend which worries you?
Actually, yes, but...
Many of your friends and associates have done it also.
But we have to understand that social media is really a platform to, raise your voice, and people are doing it. But it does, equip you with some facilities to, monitor or control these social media trends. So, for example, if somebody is abusing you, you have got right to block it, you have got right to report it, and you can take, it's not that if someone deletes the, tweet or the comment, it is gone. It is always there. Once it is posted, it is always there. You can take a legal action against that. And in the past, we have seen, legal action has been taken.
So you've been associated with many of the, I support Modi and other blogs like that, and that's where a lot of people say that they are, a lot of their Twitter trolls come from that side. Is that true, or is it across the board now? Every political party and every formation has got their own set of trolls.
It's everywhere, actually. I mean, the people, you have to understand one thing, that it is not the organized force. When we run, such handles or pages, there are people, we don't know. They are in every corner of the, country. You don't know one person belong to which area. And it is up to the individual's, responsibility. One should, react responsibly. But if one does not do it, so you can't control it. The only way you have is block the person or report it somewhere.
Or report the person. Well, okay. So, Kiran Bedi, let me come to you now. In the courts, justice takes too long. In TV studios and on the internet, justice is too instant. And with no trial at all.
I look at it this way. The courts will never be able to keep pace with social network and with the television, for the reason that courts have a process to go through. Now, social network, you have no control, because anybody and everybody, whoever is on social network, is there for their own reason. Somebody's for a troll, somebody's for research, somebody's for community making, somebody's for a movement, somebody's for fun and information. So there's a big difference. Third is the television. Vikram, I believe that the onus lies on the television. Why?
I'll tell you why. And I agree. And before anybody else says it, let me say it. I think a large proportion of television is getting it wrong today. There are wrong things that are happening. Accusations are being made without adequate supporting evidence. Charges are allowed to be carried without any corroboration. And I think it's wrong. I think the television news channels are getting things wrong.
So how I look at it is, I'm sometimes amazed why you even discussing the subject. And okay, discuss.
Because it should be discussed.
Yeah, sure. As I said, discuss. But the manner in which you discuss, the questions the anchor poses, the stretch which the anchor, what is the line which the anchor wants? Anchor actually gets the answer you want. So I think the onus lies on the television.
Let me say, not all anchors.
And I think the
not
more
all anchors. I mean, let's be fair out here.
I think the onus lies more on the anchor.
Yeah,
and let me tell you.
But they're anchors and anchors.
Yes, I was exactly. You're saying what I'm saying.
Anchors and their anchors.
There's a difference between one anchor and the other
Vikram is one of the
anchor.
better ones.
One channel with the other.
I'm so happy to hear you. Say that again, Pinky.
I said Vikram is one of the better
The
ones.
lady wants to say something. What did you say?
Vikram is one of the better ones.
Okay, fine.
So I think that's where the difference is. Watch other channels like BBC. They don't make you fight like that. They don't debate like this. They also have debates, but they don't do it the way we do.
This is the time I should start now fighting with you and saying, what are you saying? That's enough. All right. Okay, just wanted to ask you now, if we are having a tendency for snap judgments, and increasingly what you're also starting to see is, people are saying the courts get it wrong. The courts are all wrong. Look what happened in Salman Khan. Look what happened in Jayalalitha. Look what happened here. Look what happened there. The courts are all wrong, and therefore, the real justice is what is happening in the media, on the media trials and on social media. And that's partly happening because of the weaknesses of the judicial system.
No, it's not
if
that.
you were actually having faster, more effective justice, maybe there wouldn't be a vacuum which is being filled up from these other things.
This situation will always arise, Vikram. Even if you have quicker decisions, in the courts, even then you're going to have social media and these youngsters and everybody else participate in their own venting of feelings or decisions or motives, you know, ultimately to go into this. This is well known. People want to actually get into what is happening in society and to have an opinion on it. Trials, cases are something which is reasonably exciting and everybody wants to participate. There's Agatha Christie, who did it, varieties is something which entices people.
Agatha Christie trials didn't take 20 years.
No, by all means.
You
No,
know,
no. But
you're
again,
old, you're
no,
finished by the time something happens.
Vikram, I'm afraid your logic of saying that it's only because justice is delayed and therefore social media is hyperactive.
No. I'm saying that where there is
doesn't
a
work.
vacuum, let me restate that. Where there is a vacuum, if there's a vacuum in leadership, other people come in to try and fill up that vacuum. If there is a vacuum in people feeling that, oh, I'm not going to get effective justice, or justice is not being served fast enough or effectively enough through the courts, that's when other people will come up and saying, we'll get better justice in my court. I'm an anchor, I want to give you justice. I'm social media, I'm going to give you justice.
As I said, I don't concur with that. We'll leave it at that to say
I'm not
this.
saying I concur with it either. I'm saying that's why it happens.
Yeah, but no, it isn't. It isn't why it happens. This will happen irrespective of the speed in which justice is delivered. And secondly, as you know, Kiran rightly said, and I'll add a little further to it. You know, this decision of civil society to have judgment yesterday, not only in the social media, this general desire. You know, we saw Kasab doing it. Hang him. This is not the way systems in civil society work. You do have a system whereby civilized society is supposed to work. You do have a system whereby you're supposed to go through, and it's not a process only. It's a little beyond a process. This is called due process of law. You are supposed to give a person a right to defend. People, however, want to say, we know it what happened today. We want to be the first ones in. Yeah. So, I mean, that kind of feeling.
Ekdam pass judgment immediately. Is that a serious issue? Before I come to my heading within psychology, is that a real challenge that we are facing? And okay, sometimes you could justifiably say that the court shouldn't take 18 years or 20 years in any verdict. But when it comes to the media, for example, or on the internet, is there that pressure which is now coming, the pressure to go quickly, break stories, which is causing the media, for example, to shortcut the processes that should be followed, like proper investigations, getting the facts, getting both sides of the story? What's happened to all of that?
Justice gets delayed in this country for a wide variety of reasons. Oftentimes the parties themselves want to delay things. The prosecutor and the defense counsel, the judges themselves have no interest in hurrying things along, or they're poorly trained. You know, I think we need a complete revamp of the way in which the judicial system functions in this country, quite frankly. I'm a bit wary of comparing justice as it comes out of the court or doesn't come out of the court system with the snap judgment of the media, simply because media or social media judgments come and go. They don't, you know, they may feel in the moment when they're being pronounced that your life has come to an end, but we shouldn't confuse that for real justice, right? Whereas what the courts decide or don't decide actually affects the lives of people. And so there is a sense in which we need to keep the two things apart. But on the question of the media...
Sometimes, hang on, but sometimes those verdicts and the judgments that are pronounced by the media or on social media don't go away.
Right.
It's almost a mistake
No, there
to
are
think it's an
instances,
ephemeral
absolutely.
judgment.
No.
You could today, if you get onto various social media platforms and raise a particular issue, you will find, oh, but it has now been established that this person is a crook or a great guy or a bad guy or whatever it is, for something which happened 7 years ago, 8 years ago.
No, there are instances of that, and there are perhaps even more tragic instances where somebody may be driven to commit suicide because of particular train of things. So I'm not minimizing that. I'm not minimizing that. Yeah, but I'm saying that we need to, in some sense, look at these two as separate categories. On the question of the media, I think it's really unfortunate that this race for the kind of excessive competition that you have, particularly as typified by television channels, has driven news gathering and reporting standards to the rock bottom. It's shocking, some of the things that you see on television: rampant editorializing, no fact-checking, no attempt to present any kind of balance in the presentation of news. And one of the things that I want to do, you mentioned that I've moved to the internet, one of the things that we want to do with the wires is to show that even though you're in an instant medium, it's not necessary that you have to give up time-worn journalistic precepts and principles.
Would you agree with that?
I think a lot of what is being passed off as journalism, particularly on news TV, is not journalism. It is just entertainment and comedy, right?
Entertainment and comedy.
Comedy. In fact, comic entertainment. In fact, answer is provided already in the hashtag that starts beeping several hours before the debate begins. Guilty Jayalalitha, right? Crook so and so. you know, I've been complaining about this, and every time I complain about this, a lot of people come and tell me you're old-fashioned. Remember Commonwealth Games. Suresh Kalmani is under trial, right? Let the courts deal with him. You can still say, I will not say somebody is corrupt or not corrupt until it's proven. I will say there are charges and there are suspicions. But can somebody say that Suresh Kalmani is congenitally corrupt? How do you know his grandparents, his great-grandparents, his great-great-grandparents? Is there a genome analysis or DNA test for congenital corruption? I mean, how dare you?
You could have
So as a journalist, I would never write it. I would never let anybody say it or write it in anything that I publish. And I will never trust anybody who says such a thing. Social media, abuse on social media, frankly, for most of us, it means nothing. Okay. In fact, if we don't get abused, we feel unwanted. You know, if abuse on social media could kill, then at least me, Siddharth Vardarajan, Ashish Nandi, and now even Kiran Bedi would be dead a long time back.
Me too.